Hi all, welcome back to Beanie Composter. We're just reaching December, and if you're coming out to your hot bin and it's cold, then don't worry, you're not the only one. Both of mine have gone cold. So today's video, I'm going to show you how I approach it and what I'm going to do with my hot bin to try and get it back to hot again. So a little bit of an insight to what's been happening with us. November was kind of quite a wet month. We had a lot of rain, and I'll show you a little bit what happened with the hot bin. But we had, not just the odd bit of rain here and there was quite torrential for a few days, and I had the hot bins running quite well up until then, and as soon as we got that rain, both of mine went cold. So I'll show you that in a second. But also in between that, we've been busy building some beds at Mrs. B's school garden, and also Sadiq Khan obviously brought out that ULEDs thing which has approached our area, so I've had to get rid of the Dagenham dustbin and replace it with a new car. So a few weekends have been really taken up with just family stuff, and then the fact that it's so dark in the evenings, there's just no time to sort of get in the garden, get waste together, and keep your hot bin running. So like I say, they've been neglected, but this is what we're going to try to do to get them hot again. So after we had that rain with the big one, I kind of had a feeling that it was compacted at the bottom, and some of the stuff was ready to come out, and true to word it was. So I took some out and I thought I'd get that hot again within a few days, but it didn't actually happen, because when I show you, we're not actually quite full to the the door hatch bit where you need to be to get it hot composting. But I kind of thought that I would empty the mini one as well, and I think what I'm going to do is take the hatch off the mini one, and we'll see what's going on with the bottom of that one, and then I'm going to maybe add it all into the larger one so we can sort of get that up to hot composting temperatures again. So now I'll show you what's going on inside. So the large one, you'll see there, we're actually quite cold. I have give it probably one feed a week, but that's not just, we're not come up to the hatch door bit yet, so I just think we need to get that a little bit higher. I've emptied the bottom out, like I said. I took what was quite compacted out, got some nice compost out of it, and I thought we might actually start getting it hot again, but we haven't. So that's what's going on in here at the moment. Okay guys, just to let you know, we got the Teddy Bears Picnic filming and directing the film today, so there you go. And I've got bad guts, so she's having to disappear every 5 seconds. But yeah, Teddy Bear's Picnic is filming the hot bin today. So Minnie is proper cold, like, not even close to the green. And I haven't fed that for probably maybe 2 weeks now. So let's take the hatch door off and see what's going on. Now I understand most of you probably haven't got 2 hot bins, so this wouldn't be an option for a lot of you. But last time I took the hatch door off was on the no stirring experiment, and if you look on that video, I think most of it wasn't broken down that much. We hadn't really got up to a lot of hot temperature compost in there. I think it hovered around about the 40-degree mark. But after I gave it a good stir up, we had a couple of weeks where it was quite, proper hot. Let's see what's going on with it now. So if you've seen the video on the no stirring one, but I can remember we weren't looking at all like that. This actually looks like good compost now. You can see a nice brown colour. There are obviously a few little bits that, bits of paper or card that haven't been, that's plastic actually, but there's, I don't know what that thing is there, a needle, but most of it looks like it's, you know, it has broken down nicely. So I think that's the reason we're not getting any heat into our hot bin anymore. There's just no way the air can get through that. So I'm quite pleased with this actually. So let's take that out and see how we get on with that. A few worms in there. It's always a good thing, I think. It's not the easiest place to be emptying a hot bin, that's for sure. There's a lot of paper out of this school stuff, isn't there? You have to have a word with them at work.
Oh, what's wrong with it?
Well, it doesn't, it's all plasticky, isn't it? That shouldn't be going into the environment. Look, loads of it.
Maybe they're shredding the laminated
Yeah,
one.
bloody hell. This has ruined the, so... Yeah, don't go asking Mrs. B for shredded paper, because you'll just get a load of shredded plastic.
Oh.
Aren't they teaching them anything in these schools? That ain't great for the environment, is it? Look how much plastic's in there. Okay, so we've reached that middle bit where I always seem to get, well, that is like dry as anything in the middle there. This is gonna have to be like proper sieved. Not happy about that. So we've got some bits that aren't broken down. I'm just gonna keep those to the side and I'll add them into the other one. So as happy as I am with this compost at the moment, one big thing to take from this video would be, make sure if you are getting shredded paper from friends, family or wherever, make sure it is just paper and not got plastic and stuff like that in that isn't going to decompose, and it's just going to give you one big headache when you come to trying to get rid of that out of the compost. So little bit of a rant, but it does annoy me. As a friend of mine says once, it doesn't make you smile. Mojo's gone, guys. Mojo's gone.
Mojo.
So a little bit gutted about all that plastic in the compost, and not only is it in this mini one, it's bound to be in this one as well. But well, we can't do much about that now. You've seen it started to all collapse. I've kind of lost my mojo with it all at the moment. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to give the large one a big stir up, and then I'm just going to add the stuff from the mini straight into the large one, and we're going to, like I say, try and get this one hot composting. Then I think with the mini I'm going to just get it all cleaned out, and I'm going to start again from scratch with no plastic, and then I'm going to make sure everything that goes into this one now has got no plastic in it, so we can eliminate that out of our compost from now on. It's sort of the first time I've seen it. When I emptied this one, I didn't notice any in there last time, but I'm sure because I've been adding the same sort of mixtures to both of them that there's going to be some plastic in this one as well at some stage. But this isn't really about plastic in the hot bin, it's about getting the, you know, the hot bin hot again. So let's carry on. So I'm just going to give this one a stir around because it's a little bit damp, and just to get some air into it and see what's going on. So trying to get to the bottom. As I said earlier, I have taken quite a bit of compost out of this a week or two ago, and it should be coming up to temperature once we start adding some more stuff into it, I hope. As I've always said in the comments, these things are not plug and go, and they're not, you know, just simple as the Hotbin composting company make out to be. So we've had a little break. I've calmed down with all that plastic. Yeah, real annoying. But I've taken out like most of the stuff out of the mini that hadn't decomposed. That's all gone into the large one now. So what I've got left in the mini now is just what I would say is good compost apart from that plastic. So I'm gonna just take that out, as I say, and just empty the mini for the time being. We're gonna concentrate on this now. It's December, like I keep saying. That means it's damp in the air and we tend to get a little bit of rain, but everything's starting to drop in temperature, so you know, everything's cold. I've explained this on the channel before about, you know, keeping your hot bin hot, and this time of the year you kind of want to try and make sure that the waste you're putting into your hot bin isn't stone cold damp and wet. So I'll show you what's going on in this, and I'm probably going to add a little bit more paper cardboard just so I can get some of that moisture out of it, and I'll give it a good stir around, get some aeration in there, and then I'm going to put the new lot on, you know, new waste that I've got ready to go on top. So I'll show you that, because I'm just waffling like crazy and probably no one's even listening. So I'm going to give this a good stir up as much as I can from the bottom. I did do that when I emptied it, so it should be okay. But just because I'm, you know, it's not really up to temperature, I just want to get some aeration into it and check. It's not mega wet, so I think I'm just going to add a tiny bit more paper into it before I add the new waste. So let me just go and get that paper. So I've got some torn up cardboard, no plastic in this one, guys, and I'm just going to add in half of this, because like I say, we're not mega wet in there, but I just, at this time of the year, as we approach sort of winter time, I try to keep it a little bit drier if possible. And the waste I've got going in there today has been around for a little while in the house, and it's got, like, you know, quite a bit of fruit and stuff that's quite damp, so I just want to make sure we're not adding tons and tons of moisture. Now there's plenty of bulking agent in here, so that shouldn't be an issue. And I don't see why there should be a restriction in any airflow here. I think the reason we're not coming up to temperature is purely because we're not putting enough waste in at the moment.
Oh God, you're so stressed.
I'm not stressed,
Yes,
but
you are.
you keep going on about that bread.
Yeah, because it's sitting there for
We'll leave it in
like 2
conservatory
weeks.
then.
Good.
We all know if your hot bin isn't up to temperature, you shouldn't be putting bones and that in there. But I'm pretty sure this is going to come up to temperature now. I'm sort of back onto it and things are going well again. So let's put these chicken bones in there, because I don't want these hanging around the house for too long. So they're going to get buried in the old compost bit. Waste we've got is mainly the kitchen caddy waste, which is fruit, vegetable peelings, and I've got some bulking agent there, so I'm going to add that in first. We've got some bread as well in there, eggshells, and there's quite a few tomatoes that we tried to sort of ripen up, but it didn't really happen. So we're well above that hatch door now, time I put some paper and cardboard in there as well, we'll be well over that hatch door. So I'd imagine give it a couple of days, we should start seeing some heat build up in here. So I'm going to leave that now for a good day, maybe 2 days before I give it another feed. I'm hoping that should have solved this hot bin and we'll start seeing temperatures come up in the next few days. We'll leave it at this for the moment. All I've got to do now is clean out the Mini, sort out all that plastic crap. I'll probably put it in some bags. I'll take as much as I can out now, put it in some bags and leave it over winter just to mature up a little bit. And then when it gets a bit warmer in the spring, I'll dry it out a little bit and then sieve through it and try and get as much of that plastic out as possible. So there's a bit I've taken out of the Mini from the corner bit. You can see how compacted that is, and that's why your hot bin won't be heating up, because no air is going to get through that. That is solid. So that just explains why our Mini wasn't heating up anymore. You saw with the last part of the video that we sort of fed everything. That was the Sunday. I've left it for a couple of days and now we're Wednesday, so it's had 2 days to try and recover. This week we're going into like minus on temperatures, so it's getting proper cold outside, so that's another challenge. So what I've done is all the waste now I've brought inside just to keep it a bit warmer. And yeah, it's quite difficult at the moment with filming because of the way we sort of, one goes to work and one's home, so it's not easy to film during the daytime at the moment. But I wanted to sort of show you what I'm doing with every sort of movement with this, trying to get the hot bin back hot again. So I had a look this morning, there's a few worms coming up to the top, so I kind of thought maybe it is getting hotter and they're trying to escape. So hopefully you'll see that in the next clip we're going to show you. But I'm going to show you what I'm putting into it. We've got some stale bread, so I'm hoping that might help things along as well. Got a bit of stale bread. Now this isn't us wasting food. My mum goes to this place where they give out like out of date stuff or best before stuff, and they have loads and loads of bread, and I just asked my mum to grab a few bits because otherwise it just goes to feed horses and that. So I thought I might as well feed the hot bin with it just to see if that helps out. So I got some bread in there, and this is like really old stuff that I've had sitting in the conservatory. It's probably a good 3 weeks old, but that's starting to go pretty bad now, so I thought I'd best put that in. So basically it's just a lot of, we've got a couple of bones as well because I'm hoping it will come up to temperature soon, but most of it is just vegetable and fruit peelings and some eggshells and things like that. Like I say, this has all been kept at room temperature just today, so it does sort of give you that head start with the hot bin coming up to temperature. Bulking agent as well has also been, I left that in here from this morning. We don't have the heating blasting out all day, but it does, you know, give it a little bit of a head start with the temperature, like I say. So bulking agent, and then I've got shredded cardboard as well, and that's been sitting indoors for the last few days, so that should be nice and warm as well. It's cold and dark outside, so not going to be very easy to film this. Put my trusted head torch on and we'll go to the hot bin. Okay guys, I'm not smoking one of those vape machines. It's just real cold out here. It's probably about 1 degrees. But this morning before I went to work I did clean the dials up, so hopefully you are going to see the temperature we're at with the dials. They'll be a bit more clearer. But I don't want to be keeping this hot bin open for too long, so I'll just show you quickly. We'll give it a good stir up and I'll add that waste in and we'll see where we are at. We've got quite a few worms starting to come up now. So I'm hoping that's a good sign that we are gonna, you know, we're on the mend in terms of getting hotter in the hot bin. So we're not quite in the green yet. I've got both the probes, the long one and the short one, in there at the moment, and they're pretty much showing almost identical temperatures. If I put my hand on here, I can feel it is warming up. I'll give it a tiny stir around just to see what's happening. Now, I don't know if that's steam coming out or just my breath, so it's a bit difficult to tell, to be honest, but I just always like to give it a little stir just to see what's going on. The cardboard that went in there the other day isn't soggy wet, so we're not mega wet in here, which is good. So I'm going to enter my waste in and cardboard. So the dial's going up quite quickly there, so that's a good sign. But like I say, I don't want to leave this open for too long, so we'll leave it at that and we'll come back at the weekend and check what's going on.